What's going on, everyone? This is Sherry, and you are tuned into She Said What She Said, the podcast where we interview badass women in the sports world and beyond. We got my guy Zorro back here this week. You know, he sometimes comes on over and says hi. He'll probably be my lap in a minute. So I told you guys last week that this weekend I was starting my Spartan season this year. Went down to Atlanta, did not one, but two sprints in the muddiest, wettest course I have ever seen. Of course, I've only done a handful of them. It stormed in Atlanta 2 days before. It was disgusting. So couldn't even do a rope climb. It was mud. Got fifth in my age group, which is about as good as I did when I closed out last season. So not like in love with my race, but I'm happy enough with it. And then just for shits and giggles, when I was done with my race, I went and ran an open with my girl Yvonne for her first time. So every bruise that I created on the first time, I hit that exact same spot the second time. So my wrists, my forearms, my legs are just covered in bruises. It's beautiful. And so for this week, I am doing one of the hardest things for me, which is I'm sitting my ass down. I'm not working out until Sunday. I promise. I have thought about it, but it's raining, so I'm not running, not going in the gym. I'm just sitting down. It is just me today as the host, but that is all right because we have a very exciting guest. And this is about as Chicago as a guest as you can get because this woman is an absolute legend to the people of Chicago. So I'm going to try to list all her credentials, but there's a lot, So we'll start from the very beginning. Whitney Young, Gatorade, Illinois State Player of the Year, All-American, went to Northern Illinois, All-American. Played in the Played in the WNBA, the American Basketball League, overseas, and I want to say France, Greece, Italy, Iceland, Spain. Went on to the coaching circuit and is now the head coach at Delaware State. So let's bring in our guest tonight. It's EC Hill. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Great. Oh, I missed one. Illinois Basketball Hall of Fame.
Yeah, thank you.
You have so many credentials. It's hard to get them all in, just a quick couple sentences.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
So head coach, though, we'll start with the most recent. Head coach now at Delaware State, your first year, first time as a head coach. How was your inaugural season?
It was tough. I'm going to be honest with you. I got hired in June, which is pretty late for the coaching world. And I inherited a team that was already in place. So I had to roll with those guys, and they worked hard for us and for me and my staff. And it was unfortunate that we did not win a game this season, but it's okay. But it was a great opportunity. Now moving on, got through that tough season. I'm in a position to bring in players that I like. No offense to the ladies that I inherited, but now I have the opportunity to bring in my own players.
So. Absolutely. And how is recruiting going?
It's going really, really well. I can't really give you all the names. That we have a lot of commitments. I'm really excited about it, and I'm pretty sure that it's going to be a different outcome this year.
When does the signing period start? April?
The last one, I think, is April 13th. The last signing period. It's late period. It's coming up. So I have a lot of commitments. If you look at my social media page, you can see a little tweets and likes from them. I can't post that, but they can. And some of them pretty, I'm really, really excited about that. So we have some transfers. We have some incoming freshmen. We have some grad transfers. We have some junior college transfers. So I have to make sure everything which I like on my roster.
Fantastic. And how do you go about recruiting? Because this is, I was a track athlete, and I say this to all my coaches that I have on here. Look, in track, you're either fast or you're slow. You know what I mean? You can easily find those types of things you're looking for. So I'm always very curious in these skill sports of what where do you start? Do you start local? Do you start like looking at clubs? Do you start with people in your network? Like, what is the first step for
I
a
have a
coach
staff
recruiting?
of 3 assistants that help me out with that. But the first thing we got to do is we got to recruit locally. We got to take care of the local talent in Delaware, and then the surrounding areas like Philly, New York, New Jersey, um, any connections that we might have, Maryland, because I used
DC, yep.
you see all those areas. We got to make sure we take care of our region. But the kids I have coming in are from all different places. I have a listing in a high school position in Malvern Academy, so I tap into that. So I have kids from Florida, Philly, New York, New Jersey, all type of places. So I have a vast, diverse roster, which I'm excited about.
I love it.
I
I
do not
love it.
have a Chicago person yet, but I'm working on that. I don't have a Chicago kid yet.
Come on,
It's coming.
you have to get it.
I'm
If not
trying.
this
I'm
year, if
trying.
not this year, the next year.
Well, shout out to everybody in Chicago. I'm looking, so let them know. I'm looking
We got some hoopers out here.
for sure. For
hmm
sure.
And so tell everyone, I mean, I announced it, but I'm sure you're going to do it with a little bit more flavor. Tell everyone where you went to high school and played at.
The one and only Whitney Young High School, the best, one of the best schools in the city. They're not one of the best school in the city, high school. I love that place. So
And the mascot is the
Dolphin, one and only Dolphin.
fantastic.
Yes, the blue
And the
and
most
orange.
famous alumni is
Michelle Obama.
damn straight. Damn straight.
Michelle
Michelle
Obama.
Obama.
Yeah, you can't beat her. So she's the pinnacle. Yeah.
Oh man. So tell me a little bit, I mean we were saying before, you're from Chicago, born and raised, South Side. How did you end up at Whitney Young? Did they recruit you for basketball? Were you just super smart and went there as was?
I would, you know what? I would say I was super smart, but I'm not gonna even lie to you. It's because of basketball, but I did have the grades to get in there, so I was happy
Fantastic.
for that. But I'm originally from the South Side of Chicago, 85th Street, Gresham Elementary School. So they found me at the local YMCA back in the. Now I'm dating myself because the Y has moved. At that time, it was on the local playground on 85th and Peoria, where I grew up, or the YMCA on 71st Street. That's where I got my little showcase. That was my playground of basketball, and I got the opportunity to show my skills, and I got blessed to get recruited to a lot of high schools in Chicago, but I chose Whitney Young. And that was one of the best decisions I ever made.
Yeah, you were All-American there, Gatorade State Player of the Year. It's pretty, for people that know sport, let me tell you, that is an amazing honor. And you were also one of the top guard. Were you shooting guard or uh, point guard? I don't know why I just blanked.
That's okay. I played point guard, and actually, so when you play basketball in Chicago, come from Chicago, you have to have that Chicago mentality of like just being hard nosed. You have a killer mentality. You got to make sure you can't be soft coming out on the court in Chicago. So you got to make sure you represent and do it to the best of your ability, or they will eat you up. So it's like survival of the fittest, and I'm very proud that Chicago taught me that on the court and off the court.
Damn straight.
Right.
And so you know what? And so coming out of Whitney Young, you were probably recruited by how many schools?
It was crazy. It was crazy. I had to sometimes change my phone number at times, and but it was a great opportunity. It was a blessing. My mom is a single parent, had me early at 16, and I knew early on in my high school career that basketball was going to pave the way for giving me the education, and it's still paying my bills and having, I love what I do. So my recruiting process was it was intense, but I chose Northern Illinois because I'm an only child. And at that time, Northern Illinois was ranked 15th in the country, led the nation in scoring. And also to mention that it wasn't at that time when I was being recruited, it was no mid-major or BCS schools. It was just Division One. So
right. Absolutely.
They also had a teammate there, Cindy Connors, who was from Whitney Young. So they did. Why not stay home and try to make sure represent another local program that put on the map, and I wanted to be a part of that.
Okay. Did you take any other recruiting visits?
Yes, I took 4. I didn't
Okay.
want to take my 5 because it was becoming a little stressful, but I took a visit to NIU. Western Kentucky, actually, who went to the national championship game the following year that I did not.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was. And then University of Iowa at that time, Vivian Stringer was there, and I wanted to experience the HBCU, so I took a visit to Howard.
Okay.
So I wanted to always experience that and look at them now. You never know where you might be. I'm taking a visit to Howard now. I'm in a head
in
the HBCU, so you never know.
And I had a question pop in from the chat. You know, growing up in Chicago on the courts, how often did you counter, "Aw, she's just a girl"?
All the time.
Counter that all the time.
All the time. You know, for the longest time, I thought I was the only girl to play basketball in the world because my neighborhood, I played against the boys. So I didn't really experience girls until like maybe, and I started playing so young. I started playing basketball at 4 years old because my uncles was my baby.
Okay.
My uncles took me to the court with them. So for a long period of time, I was the only girl in the neighborhood that played. So until I got to like 7th grade, and I ventured outside my neighborhood. Oh, and I was like, oh, there are other girls that play this game. So that remark is common, but it never really bothered me. So.
Okay, yeah. The question was it what was that one? Terrence, put that back up. Foster Park, was that where you were playing?
Oh, yes. Listen, Chicago is like, I love my city and my city loves me. And I really, every time I come home, they give me so much love and I make sure I come home very often. But Foster Park, Brandon Park, I was Gatorade Morgan classes back in the day. Yes, was my area of playing all the time. That's when you can go to different courts across the city and play.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's fantastic. I have a girlfriend. I had her on the pod a little earlier, and she has a women's hoops program now for adult women playing around Chicago, which like you said, you know, you get a certain point, you just don't see opportunities like that for women, either adults or kids. And I love seeing women making these opportunities. So like young girls can go watch their aunt play or their mom play or their older sister play and be like, it's not just for the boys, it's for the girls too.
Yeah, but you know what? I have to admit that playing against boys make me a better player.
Yeah,
you can score against a boy, you can score against a girl. So having that early in my life outside playing with boys, it really helped me. So.
And Frank wants to know, did you school most of those guys?
I did my thing. I was able to hold my own, and they let me play with them. So yeah, I did my thing.
And how old were you when you first beat one of your uncles? Because I know you would have beaten one at one point.
I was not going to say that I beat them. They retired early enough so that I wouldn't have to play.
Okay. Got it. Yeah. They were like, these hamstrings gonna get a little old, and you were coming on up.
You know how that goes, yeah.
Yes, I do. Okay, got it. And so, and you know, what you said about going to NIU because you had a teammate there. I went to Penn State because I had a club teammate that was there. Like, I never would have thought about even going to there until Brooke was like, why don't you come run here? I was like, nah.
Right.
And that's where I ended up. So there is something about having that familiarity of, someone that for me, I was running with her for 4 or 5 years before, like, it's that familiarity. It's that comfort of knowing that if she's telling you can fit into the team, you can trust their word.
Right. And we actually played, at Whitney Young, we played early in the summers early with them. It was myself, Cindy, to name a few, Andrea Johnson, and I was in 6th grade. They was in 7th grade. So we've been with each other for a long period of time. So it was actually a comfort and a safe space for me to go follow her again to NIU. So yeah.
Absolutely. And at NIU, you were once again an All-American. You guys had 3 tournament appearances? Yeah. 3? And then 1 year you advanced
to the second round.
Second round? Okay.
Look at you. You did your homework.
Look, this photographic memory is only good for a few things, but this is it.
Yeah.
And our question: what was the recruiting process for you going from Young to NIU?
It was actually a shocker because I was highly recruited. People were surprised that I decided to go to NIU,
Mm-hmm.
but I wanted to make the decision what was best for me. And
Absolutely.
everybody wanted to make sure like you should go to Tennessee at the time, you should go to Iowa, you should do this. But I never really, I wanted to make sure I had a good college experience. I'm a first
Mm-hmm.
college graduate of my family, so I want to make sure I did that. And I didn't want to, please everyone else, but I made sure my mom supported my decision.
Absolutely.
And so, but it was a shocker for as far as in the basketball world that I decided to go to NIU. But for me, it was not. It was a great opportunity. But my recruiting process was crazy. At first, as an athlete, you loved all the attention that when all these schools are calling you and all that stuff. But after a
Mm-hmm.
while, it gets really stressful and annoying. And when you but that's the time when you're in the newspaper a lot, and if you don't perform well, the papers won't give you good headlines. So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
and it's hard to manage at times when you're young. So, but
Absolutely.
it was a great experience though.
Mm-hmm. Did you feel like you went into the recruiting experience kind of blind, or did you have coaches at Whitney Young that helped guide you through it?
I went in really blind because I know my high school coach he had experienced other athletes um, getting recruited, but at this time we didn't really realize that I was going for National Player of the Year versus Lisa
Mm-hmm.
Leslie and all that stuff, and it was crazy. It
Yeah.
was it
Yeah.
was great. It was, I mean, crazy. Sometimes I didn't realize I was in the paper every day. Um,
Yeah.
so, but again, that was because Chicago had embraced me, and I
Mm-hmm.
loved them for that. But at that young age, it was kind of stressful. Like I didn't understand some things that was been said, but it comes with a job, and I get it now. But it was tough. It was tough. Like everybody wanted you to do this, everybody wanted to do that, but they understand when you're in that position and you're in a hot seat, it's tough to manage at times. But
Absolutely.
um, I learned from it, got through it, and with my circle of influence, my support system. But it was tough.
Mm-hmm. And how was that transition going from Chicago to NIU?
Going through that experience in Chicago, I can handle anything. Chicago
Okay.
and prepared me to go anywhere as far as
Mm-hmm.
overseas, any environment I was prepared for because Chicago's can be like really, really crucial at times and also
Mm-hmm.
loving at times. So if you can make it in Chicago, you can make it anywhere. And I
Yes,
must
great.
say, of all the places I've been across the country, there's no place like home. There's no place like, and that's sometimes being so close to Baltimore because Baltimore is kind of similar to Chicago, but it's a little
Mm-hmm.
smaller and Baltimore gets a bad rap and Chicago gets a bad rap and
They do.
it's not always like that. It's a great city, a great place to live, and every major city has crime. But when you just only hear about the bad things, that's what you think. But it's a lot of good things that come out of Chicago, a lot of good things, and I would never, man, if I can come back and live in Chicago, I would because it's been good to me.
Absolutely. I mean, look, I'm not from here, but the first time I visited in middle school, I fell in love with the city. And once I got out of college, left that east, thought about staying the East Coast for like a hot second. And then I
Yeah.
was like, no, I'm going back to the city. And I have not left. Next question. Being the big star on campus, how did you manage to stay humble?
My
I imagine
teammates,
it's hard for a college student.
um, my teammates and my coaches make sure because I mean honestly I came in sometimes with a big head and look
Mm,
cocky and when
of
you come
course.
in as a freshman you got to wait your turn sometimes and
Fair.
but so I had to humble myself in different situations. I can't remember all of them, but I remember one time I played because I coming in I didn't want to play back in the day when I played the myth of a point guard, you just pass the ball, and I was a
Hmm.
scoring guard,
Right.
and
Hmm.
my
That's
college
why I
coach,
asked you if you're a shooting guard
right,
because yeah, because of all you
yeah,
had assists, but you had a lot of points.
and I was a scoring guard, so my college coach
Hmm.
like, "You got to play point," and I'm like, "No, I
Yeah.
don't want to play point." She said, "We don't want to play point. You're not gonna play." So my teammates were like, "Man, you
Fair.
being selfish and all that stuff." So I was like, so she set me, and I was like, "Man, she crazy?" As a player, you talk about the coaches fault, all that stuff, but I finally gave in, and she put me at the point. And my first time at the point, being a little immature and stuff that I was, not doing my role at the time. I had 10
Mhm.
I had 10 turnovers. 10 turnovers.
Yikes.
And my teammates, got on me and all that stuff, but it was an experience. I had to humble myself. And also, I didn't realize that I can be a point guard and distribute and lead the team and still be able to play my game as a scoring guard. So,
Absolutely.
boy, I had to go through the rough part and be benched to understand what she was trying to get me to do.
Hmm. I mean, the role of the point guard has evolved over time.
Yeah.
It definitely.
Yeah.
Uh, I can't play basketball. I am 5'4". That was not where my talents lie.
Okay.
But I'm a fan of the sport, and holler bad boys, Detroit Pistons. That is all I will say on that subject.
You don't want to go there with the Bulls now.
I know. I watched the Michael the Jordan special. I watched that one episode with an Isaiah Thomas jersey dress on because I still had one. Found it from the back of my closet. This was during COVID. Put that thing on and just sat to watch that episode. Like, yes.
But you know what? Guess where Isaiah's from? Isaiah Thomas from. He's from Chicago. So
Chicago.
yeah.
I know. Still, but yeah, you can't escape the greatness of Chicago.
You can't, especially in basketball, you can't.
Yeah, it's a huge hub for it. It always will be, and I
Right.
love to see women coming out of it too, because the
Oh, yeah.
women
So
can
many
hoop
women
here.
before me, so many women before me, so many people after me. There's so many, and so many people from Whitney Young. I can name so many. I don't want to do that because I might forget somebody, and I don't want to offend anyone. So,
Right.
yeah, it's so many, so many.
Hmm. Now, you said you were the first from your family to graduate from college. So, what was your degree in?
Communications, media
Communications.
studies. Yeah. So I never really used that path because I played for a long period of time, and then I got the opportunity to coach. But I always wanted to be a radio personality. I didn't want to be
Ah,
in front of the camera. I want to be behind the camera because from the South Side and from Chicago, we like to talk trash and talk
right.
stuff. So why not give us a mic and talk with some music behind it? But
Shoot.
God had another path for me, so that's fine.
Hey, you can come on in here and talk trash whenever you want. I promise that.
I'm
And I will say, I mean, a communications degree, I mean, what is coaching? Communicating. And yeah, she does have a television face too.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So,
because coaching is
you
communicating.
have to be like on television, you got to be a certain size and fatigue, and so I gotta.
Times are changing, and that's nice. Well, that's the nice part about the internet. You know what I mean? Is a lot of these molds are being broken because people are creating their niche somewhere else, and that's what people want.
Right, and you got to feel comfortable who you are. So,
Absolutely. So we did our career at NIU, kicked ass, All American once again, but you were not done playing basketball, were you?
no, I wasn't. I wasn't. I wanted to get basketball totally out of my system, and I did. I did. So,
Now I actually don't remember the exact. What was the first team that you played with post college?
I went to Athens, Greece. That was my first professional job. Woo, yeah, and Greece is nice. Don't get me wrong. It's Americanized because I knew I could not go to a place that did not speak English. And in most places in Europe, did English is a second language. But
Right.
Greece was really, really a good experience, and I had to grow up. Only going an hour and a half from Chicago. This was leaving home. And so I had to really, really grow up. But I'm glad I did it.
And did you do your whole international playing career in a row, or did you come back to do like WNBA, American Basketball League, and went back over?
Well, okay. When I graduated, there was no professional league in the States.
Right.
So I played 1 year in Greece, and then that's when the ABL started.
Say the ABL was, that was first.
So the ABL started, and I played, and the ABL is not in the summer; it was in the traditional basketball season. So I played in that for 3 years. I played 2 years in New England on the East Coast, and 1 year in Chicago Condors had a team.
Yeah.
Actually, recently folded. It folded, and then I went to Iceland after that.
Ah, okay.
Then I went to Iceland. Then after Iceland, I went to Italy. I played in Vicenza, Italy, which is right outside of Venice, and that's when the WNBA started.
Okay.
So I was overseas and everything. Got a call to play in Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
Invited to their training camp, and I had to go in and make the team. Whatever, made the team. So after that, I would play in the WNBA in the summers, and go to Europe
Mm-hmm.
in the fall. So I would be
Okay.
in Europe for 8 months, and then the summers I played in WNBA.
Yeah. So I have a buddy of mine, when he was growing up, he would go to the American Basketball League games with Chicago. He said
Mm-hmm.
you were his favorite player. He had a signed basketball from you, but it disappeared over time through moves. And he still remembers that when I put that on and Who's a Podcast, he was like, man, I lost my signed basketball from her.
Wow.
But then this is a guy growing up, you were his favorite athlete.
And I appreciate that. I wish I knew his name, and maybe I can send him something or whatever.
Dorian, I can let you know. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's great,
Yeah.
though.
So you were definitely changing. You had guys and girls looking up to you coming back to Chicago in your brief stint here.
That's an honor. I appreciate that. I mean, and when you have the position to be a role model, you make sure you try to carry that torch the best way you can, and I take that very seriously.
Absolutely. So playing overseas, you played in a bunch of countries in Europe. Like, you talked about it going to Greece, but like, did it get easier when you went to different countries? Was every country like complete culture shock? How was that?
Ooh, as I matured, and it got a little easier, but being overseas is tough. It's tough. The language barrier and the different cultures.
Mm-hmm.
My first year in Greece, my phone bill for 1 month was $1,000 because I was like, and then a time difference. I was like calling home, like, I need to hear,
It's what,
please.
7 hours ahead?
Yes, I mean, please talk to me, please talk. And then my family be like, I'm asleep. I'm waking people up. I'm like, listen, I ain't gonna make it. I need to talk to somebody. And then, but now I think it would be much easier because you have Netflix. You have, I had to bring my PlayStation with me. I had to bring DVDs with me. So, but you adjust, and honestly, it made me grow up, and the money was really, really good. So I must admit,
facts.
Yeah, so money was good. But after Greece, I went to Iceland, like I said before, and then I went to Italy, then France and Spain. So my toughest country to play in was probably France because the language French is tough. It's tough. So, but and actually, that was my last country. I retired after that. But
okay.
So, but every place I learned a lot and I appreciate it. My favorite place probably would be Italy because I love to shop. And so the shoes, the wine, the vino, the wine, the fashion capital of the world. So yeah, and Greece was good as well. So I got a good experiences everywhere I went.
Have you been back to Italy since?
I have not, but I would love to because I need to go back and get some couple of things I might need to shop a little bit more. So
I have some limoncello from Italy over on. We went there a few years ago. They're like these pretty little glass. I just can't open them to drink them because I just need to look at it and just.
And the tiramisu. Yes.
Literally, the best cannoli I ever had was from like this random vendor on the street in Naples. It was kind of like walking around like, oh, I want a cannoli. And it was like the best cannoli I've ever had in my life.
I don't even eat pasta anymore because once I came back from Italy and getting the best pasta, I don't even eat pasta here anymore because it's like
it's not the same.
No offense, but I don't even eat it here. Like when I came back, I was like, this is not really good, So, but
no, it's one of my favorite countries in the world as well. Yeah. It is just you can't, and to be able to be paid to go there and live there, and do something you love is.
And live as a native because when you're there, you live in. I'm there for 8 months. And, you live in like you're not a tourist. You live in like a native. And I came back from overseas, and I would be talking to my parents using my hands, and like and they were like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm sorry, I've been to Italy. That's what they use hand gestures." So
that's all they do.
Yes. So
it's when we were over there, we had a tour bus driver driving us up to Mount Vesuvius. And you're going up those roads and he's like honking at these cars and like cursing them out, and then he drives by them and then just smiles and waves and tells them to have a good day. It's like I was like, I love this country. You could just yell and scream and then have a good one.
The most amazing thing for me is that when you go to a local grocery store, everybody's dressed up. I'm like, what are they doing? they are dressed. I mean, even just head to toe, just going to run errands. I'm like, where are they
Yeah.
going? Well, that's the Italian way, though.
They don't
So,
wear sneakers.
oh no, they are dressed. And
Cobblestone, it don't matter.
yeah, yeah. So,
I love it.
yeah, yeah.
So you came back to play in the WNBA, playing in the inaugural season. How was that being part of that new league?
It was a great. I mean, you say WNBA, we're like the peers of the NBA. So I get to experience that, being the perks of being associated with that. But I was actually back up to Dawn Staley, so actually I got the experience, get to be under her.
Wow.
Made some great friends. Again, the perks that come with that, going to All-Star games and stuff like that, and it was great. It was a great run, but I loved it. I loved it, and being the only one to start from it, to have the opportunity from Northern Illinois.
Right.
A little girl from the South Side, a little girl from DeKalb, Illinois, is in the league. So that's an experience I would always treasure. I will always treasure that experience. So
it's phenomenal. I love it.
Yeah.
And though there is another NIU graduate that has also played in the WNBA, I know you coached her, friend of mine, Stephanie.
Stephanie Raymond.
Stephanie Raymond, yes.
Who drove me nuts. She drove me nuts. No.
I can see this. And I know she's at football practice right now. Her tackle league, she plays quarterback. They practice on Wednesday nights. But okay. I'll be tagging her and making sure she sees this. So say what you want about Stephanie.
No, Stephanie was, you know what? Stephanie was very, very good. She was a good player. And I'll make sure that when I got there, I was like, listen, kid, they try to, the media always try to compare what I did at NIU of my time to her. So I'm like, no, this is her time. Let her do her thing. She had a great career. And she carried the torch forward by getting drafted by Chicago Sky. I'm happy that I was a part of that. And, I want to say that I helped that happen. I mean, we did it together, but I'm really proud of her. She did her thing. So, and she was a great player at NIU and the Sky. So, and I'm glad she's an athlete. She's going to play something till she dies. So.
Athlete. I played flag football with her for a few years before I retired. And man, I mean, she's not only a phenomenal athlete, she's a phenomenal teammate, phenomenal person. Her wife is like phenomenal. Like they are just awesome people.
Yeah, tell her I said hello. Tell her, please.
Yes, I will tag her and send it to her so she can watch this later when she's recovering from her practice. Girl, you're getting old.
She's still doing it though. Hey, that's
she's
how you
still doing it. I love it.
That's how she stays fit. Yeah.
So did you now, how was it like? Kind of, was it a decision to retire? Was it kind of like realizing that the opportunities weren't there? Was it your body telling you? What was that decision like, deciding it was time to hang it up?
It was my body. Like when it was becoming a struggle to go work out, because, people think this practice is all what you need to be successful, to be a pro. No, it's just the extra practice when you have to work out with a trainer or by yourself. Mostly, overseas, you got to find time. I mean, you got to fill the gaps when you don't really, because you only have practice sometimes twice a day. And then when I started regretting that, when I was like, oh, I gotta go practice, I know it was getting time.
Yeah.
My body I've been fortunate that I have never had a major injury like that.
Nice.
So, but it was just really like, it's a struggle to go to the gym, like to go to practice. So that was like, you know what, it's time. And I didn't want to make sure I leave the game in a good note, not to play past my prime. So
Absolutely.
I did it at the time.
Absolutely. And how was that mentally transitioning to no longer, I know you stayed involved in the sport as a coach, but how was that mental transition of no longer being the player?
Well, it was a little scary because I didn't know what I wanted to do. I mean, I was like, let me take some time off because I had been traveling my whole career. And I was like, let me just go home and be in one place. Be stable. And but I knew I wanted to be in basketball, but I had no idea. Luckily had financially stable. I could take some time, but I had no idea what I wanted to do. And I actually ended up taking a position at Robert Moore's as the head coach, which I was happy for the opportunity, but I was not ready to be a coach because I was just still transitioning from as a player with no experience as a coach. So I learned very quickly what not to do early on. But it was a little scary because I didn't know what I wanted to do at all. So, so I actually eventually found that coaching was what I wanted to do, but it was tough. It was tough to like find your niche, and it's a little scary. Like a lot of times, there's a lot of programs for college now for college athletes to when they stop playing, but there's nothing for women that play for so long to what they're gonna do. So
Yeah.
hopefully that has changed, but you need to find something for you have a program from this through the NCAA called "So You Want to Be a Coach" program for for college athletes that women that want to coach in some capacity, but there's nothing for a retired pro.
I see.
I wish we had some programs to help them with that transition because it's pretty scary at times, and sometimes some players handle it good, some we don't. But I wish there's something to help them to fill that gap until they decide what they want to do.
Absolutely. Our buddy Frank, Robert Morris, alum right here. Holler.
Hey.
Hey. No, I mean, I would say, and I've talked about it on this show before, me mentally transitioning from being a college athlete my whole life to being a regular person, it did not go well for me at all. It was a huge mental thing. And it was like, I didn't realize how much I was using track as my coping mechanism and as my drug to keep me sane. And so when I no longer had it, it was a rough couple it was a rough couple of years.
Yeah.
But man, a lot of these women that I talked to, I got college athletes, Olympians, whatever. It was like that time when you're no longer this. It's who am I? It's that identity shift.
Yeah, and it's like you go from your day filled with obligations and structured days, you have things to do, to all of a sudden all this time on your hand, and it's hard to manage.
It is.
It's hard to manage because you're like, wow, what am I gonna do? And so,
it is. Yeah, it's like regular students. If you were just to be a student at school and you get your 9 to 5, 40 hours a week, you're like, oh my God, I'm so busy. Going from an athlete where your day starts at 6 a.m. with practice, and you got class, and you got this, and you got that, and then you got home. When I transitioned to the working world, I was like, I got a lot of time on my hands.
Yeah, it does. As an athlete, like if you're not a student athlete, you think we have it easy. We don't. Or my players have it easy. They have study hall, they have weights, they have practice, they have maybe a speaking engagement, maybe a team community service. There's so many things that they have to do, and they pull it in so many different directions, and it's hard. It's hard for them sometimes because also you get your tuition paid for and other things. So it's basically you're working.
You're working.
Yeah.
You're working. Yeah. Penn State has a mandatory, at least when I was there, freshmen had to do study hall for their first semester. You had to get a certain GPA, then you got out of it. That was my worst GPA of all of college. I think I got a 3.4, 3.5 because the cute freshman star basketball player was in my same study hall.
Yeah, Google eyes. Now
little notes, little flirting. So literally I would spend my whole study hall either flirting with him or gossiping with my girlfriends, and I'd go home and do my work.
So time management is everything.
Yeah, I know. I was like, I got distracted.
I understand. Don't trust me. Don't think I did. I had everything in order. I just can't tell you my stories. That's all.
Exactly. Right. I've had a couple of my teammates on here, and we've had that moment where we're like, yeah, we're not going to elaborate on that subject, but just thank God there was not social media when we were in school.
I would be in trouble. Me and my teammates would be in trouble if we had social media.
None of us would have jobs.
Oh, yeah. Not at all. Not at all.
Oh, man. Yeah. And and how do you manage that now as a coach of directing your young athletes in the world of social media, Facebook Live? Kids don't even use Facebook, Instagram Live, Snapchat, whatever. How do you help guide them for not messing up their life with this?
We have a team handbook, and we do different scenarios that they have to make sure they're aware of. And a lot of times I get phone calls like, take that down. Do not do this. And if I see a red cup, now they try to be smart. Like, it's a blue cup, coach. I don't want to see a cup, so it's a lot of conversations, but about how to social media, what to post and what not to post, and do not post anything emotional, stuff like that. And my thing I say to my staff says, the logo never comes off, which means somebody's always watching. So that's all we say. The logo never comes off. Do not embarrass yourself, your family, or the university. So they get it, but trust me, there's a lot of conversations all the time that we have to talk about. Yeah.
Yeah. The worst, none of us did it, but we were at a frat party when I was in college. Close your ears, Mom. Girls Gone Wild were there. People were signing releases to, none of us did it. So we didn't have to have that, but that's what we had to worry about. Now it's just, hey, let me get that party, that frat party on a Wednesday or Thursday night because it's Halloween and you practice in the morning, whatever, no big deal. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm in a sorority too, so I would make sure. Yeah.
You get it.
Oh yeah, I get it.
You get it. Yeah.
I gotta give a shout out to Delta Sigma Theta Incorporated.
Hey.
Yes, all day. So
love it. So
day.
you transitioned to being a coach, and you said when you first started coaching, you didn't know what you were doing. So how did you learn how to coach?
Well, the thing I had to make sure I had to get stop thinking as a player. Because you're like, I don't understand why they can get this because I was able to do that. So you just try to take your playing days out the equation and just you had to become a teacher. So like a teacher in the classroom, the same thing with a coach. You're a teacher and your classroom is the court. So and also make sure that you teach them not like you, but make sure that everyone has a different teaching method, and some people learn by just walking through plays, and some people can visualize things. So you have to adjust. The biggest thing about coaching is that you have to adjust to the kids, and this group is different from way different from us. So you got to be flexible and change, and then with the COVID hit stuff, you have to navigate through that. So just being flexible and then adjusting to your team and your players in the age group is the biggest thing. But it's not nothing bad though, because they're a lot of fun. They're a lot of I'm wore out every day. So and then what helps me is that I have a daughter who just turned 18.
Hey.
So she's just committed to play volleyball on a volleyball scholarship to University of Delaware. So
congratulations!
Thank you. So she helps. She's like my tutor for that age group, and so I rely on her a lot. And
so she keeps you hip.
Yeah, and actually, my daughter is 6'3". I'm 5'7", but she's 6'3". So my ex-husband is pretty tall, and she chose volleyball to make sure we keep a happy household. So that was pretty smart on her part.
That was my next question. Did you? Did you encourage her to play basketball? Did you just encourage her to find her own sport? How was that for her growing up?
I wanted to make sure she chose her own path, and she did play basketball in high school and stuff like that. But her love is volleyball. She actually won a state basketball championship here in Maryland this past year. So proud of her. But she just makes sure she found her own niche and don't worry about trying to fill my shoes. And she chose volleyball, and whatever she decided to do, I want to make sure that she played to the best of her ability, and she's going to be committed to that. And she made her own way.
That's fantastic. Is she an outside hitter?
Yeah, she is. Yep. Yes, she is. I'm still learning the volleyball stuff because I don't understand all that. I'm like, just hit the ball over the net, please. Just hit it hard.
A couple of weeks ago, I had the volleyball coach for University of Texas San Antonio on here, and I literally asked her, I was like, how do you hit the ball and not jam all your fingers? Because this is like basic volleyball 101. She's like, well, you have to hit it here. And I'm like, I guess you also have to be, or more like you don't hit it here, but you also have to be tall enough to get over the net without. It's like, okay.
She's 6'3", so I was like, okay, whatever you need to do, let's go.
Let's go. Well, if she did play basketball, no, you know what? With how tall women are now, I feel like in the WNBA, 6'3", you're still a guard.
Yeah, you're a guard. You're a guard.
You might be the shooting guard, but you're still a guard. So yeah, she would be in mom's shoes. Well, that's exciting that she did that. And how did you manage being a sports mom? Because we all know that sports take a lot of time while also being a coach at a high level.
It was tough in the beginning, but luckily, like when I was a coach in Northern Illinois, that's home, so I had support there. But
Hmm.
um, other places, like when I went to University of Arizona, I had a nanny that went with
Hmm.
me. So yeah, now when she gets to a certain age, we're good to go. She's 18 now, but it was adjusting. Like I have to make sure I have a plan B, plan A, plan C, plan D sometimes, because you never know what come up with having being a single parent.
Hmm.
It worked itself out, but early on I had to have a nanny to make sure that
Yeah.
she's taken care of. And but when far as coaching, when I got home, it was
Hey, who's this picture?
there she goes. There she goes. That's her. Yeah,
Hey, they're
that's my baby.
towering over you.
Yes. So, but I always make rules like when I get home, if you know, it's all about her. So when
Hmm.
I'm home, I'm mommy. Now on the way in the car, way to home, I'm making phone calls, doing everything I can do. Even sometimes pulling up to the garage, and she's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Let me get off this phone call with this recruit
We
first."
ain't home yet.
So, but I just make sure that there was boundaries for make sure that she understands that this is her time and this is mommy time.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great words of wisdom for. I don't have kids, but that is great words of
You have a cat
wisdom.
though. I see you have a cat.
And a dog. They're both sleeping right now. Literally they've been fighting behind me, and I'd never know what their energy level is going to be.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm a fur baby mom. But yeah, I mean, it's always like women in high powered jobs, women that are coaches, things that take up so much time, just like, listening of how you guys do it with kids. And obviously you've done something correctly because she
Well, you know, as
seems.
women, as a coach, we wear multiple hats, and so that's what we
Hmm.
do as a mom. And I want to make sure that like women can do it and have kids and be successful and be leaders. Don't I don't want no woman to be feel left to having the opportunity to advance her career because they have kids. That's not a it's
Hmm.
not a crutch. It's a blessing. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. And how are you feeling? So I've had this conversation with not just on the show, but with like my mom and other people. Do you feel like the involvement of parents in the recruiting process or with athletes has gotten more helicoptery as we're going on? Is it just a perception? How has, because you've been coaching for a while, have you seen any kind of changes in the roles of parents?
Well, make sure I understand. What do you mean by helicopter parents?
Parents that are super involved, parents that are pushing their child to do the sport, parents that are kind of directing the kids recruiting. Is it more of a mixed bag throughout time?
No, you have parents that live their dreams to the kid. That happens too.
Hmm.
But the recruiting process, you have to involve the parents because the kids are so young, and hopefully
Right.
you
Hmm.
have parents that understand the process. Now, when they get to college, that's something different. But in the process,
Yeah.
you have to involve the parents. You have to hopefully they're grounded and understand, and especially on the girls' side of things, they usually pick the parents. It's like it's tough because they have like want to go with their friends, or is it that's Chicago right there, right there. That's you and me. That's not me in Dover, Delaware. That's you. um, but it's just tough. You got to make sure you hopefully have the sound parents that understand that this is a job and this is hopefully make the right decision. Not just because of the logo of the school name. What's a good fit? And that's why the problem is that's why we have the transfer portal with
Hmm.
so many kids in there because the kids are not making the right decisions
Right.
and they're not getting the right guidance in that. Um, but when they get to college, we don't talk to the parents because they're 18. We don't talk to the parents. So, but we run things by them and make sure they understand what's going on with decisions. But
Okay.
we don't talk to the parents.
Got it.
They're young adults, and we make sure we communicate with them. Oh,
Yeah. I think my parents' involvement in my recruiting process was handing me the phone. But it was for me.
but for
They.
me, when I say parents, like my mom had to learn how to get me off the phone, cut it off, and
Okay.
regulate. Like it had to be a point that only take calls. She's only taking calls on the weekends.
Okay.
No calls during the week. So stuff like that, you need parents to get in to regulate, or it can be
Hmm.
out of control. So
Yeah. I mean, not all of us were as highly recruited as like you were. So there's, hey. I was also super selective in which schools, I chose to talk to. But that, again, that is more from, having like a coach that had been through this process a lot,
Right.
and having parents that, both college graduates. So they were already helping me narrow it down. It's an overwhelming process as it is, just to decide what school to go to. So
Right.
adding a sport on top of it is just, like you said, people think it's easy.
Yeah.
It just makes it a lot harder.
But also too, like for me, like there's a lot of people that went to college and got recruited before me. So Whitney Young, and like Chicago's a hotbed, but Whitney Young's
Absolutely.
a hotbed too. So I think that made it more difficult, and why I got a lot of attention, because it's a great school. It has been done before, Chicago. So, and then it was not a lot of regulations that they have now, that you can't call certain times. You just
Also true.
then you can just call anytime you want it, and it was crazy. So
yeah, that would be an issue.
yeah.
So what would you say is the biggest transition from being, because you were assistant coach, NIU, assistant coach, Arizona, now that you're the head coach, what has been the biggest transition for you from being assistant to head?
Whew, it's a business. Like I moved over one seat, and now you're the face of the program. You become the CEO of the program. So everything falls on you, which is fine. I mean, I think being a former point guard helps you help with that position, but everything runs through you. You have to manage. It's about more managing people, because I have to manage my staff, manage my players. So, but I'm an older coach. So I just turned 50 years old, so I'm not a young person in coaching. So
You're
I'm
not
really
that old.
So I think me becoming my opportunity come a little later than most, and a position that I'm really ready for. But it's still tough decisions I have to make each year with our scholarships and the business and the budgets and stuff like that. So you really have to run it as a business, and that's what I try to do.
Our question is, so now do you deal a lot more politics?
Yeah, I do. I mean, it's any level you go to is a politics. But the misconception about HBCUs is that the resources not there, the academics not that. But changing that's the thing I like, the challenge part, which I accept. I love to prove people wrong, that HBCUs is just as good at a PWI. So that's the politics that I want to make sure I crush and educate different people.
Absolutely. So what final, because we're about to get Terrence in here, because there's a game, because we told you there was a game.
Yeah.
Now I know you're nervous. But what advice would you give those young Chicago hoopers that want to be like you, that want to play in the WNBA? Maybe they're in elementary school, maybe they're in middle school, big eyes, staring at the Chicago sky. Just one great time to get women involved. But what advice would you give to those young girls out there?
You know what? The same thing can happen to them. Because I'm a testimony of what coming from the South Side Chicago, it can happen. But with that being said, you got to work. Whatever sport you might do, you have to work and grind and study your craft. Not only just on the court or playing AAU or whatever. You have to be a student of the game and learn the game. When you're watching basketball, be a student. Not just watch it as a spectator, but watch it as a student athlete, and learn and study and work on your craft, and make sure you hit your grades, because as a woman, you got to make sure you have the backup plan, because we don't have the longevity or we making money, but not quite to take care of your whole family like on the men's side.
Right. Yeah.
Make sure you get your education, and always be a lady, and be humble, and never forget where you come from. And that's why I make sure I tell young kids every day: you from Chicago, come back, grab somebody, and mentor someone else, and give them an opportunity.
I love that. Absolutely love that. And go Chicago Sky. Season is about to start soon. Can't wait. I went to one of the first finals game, or I guess that was game 3. And I was telling people before on this, I bought the tickets as soon as they came out. So I got them face value right behind the court. And then I started watching the prices of them go up and up and up. And I was like, man, how much do I really want to go to this game? Because I'd bought tickets for four of us. And I was like, I could sell everyone's ticket. I could give all my friends their money back plus double. And I could still, no, we went to the game.
Right.
There are some experiences that are just, that you can't really put a price tag.
You know what? And then,
like
to have Candace Parker. I mean, no, she's not from Chicago, but she's our homegirl. And I'm really happy that she came back home and she won a championship. Everything she's going through and what she's getting is well deserved. So she's a great role model for Illinois, for the young girls. So shout out to Candace. Candace, I need some tickets when I come home, by the way. But she's doing a great job, amazing job.
Shoot. When are you coming home to Chicago next? You're going to come for a WNBA game? Get a little Sky
game?
I'm
going to try to, but I'll definitely be home in July for recruiting. Recruiting, but I'm coming home probably April to see my parents because my family's still there and stuff like that. I'll make sure I'm home a lot when the season's over.
Right, I bet. Yeah, I think I need to double check. I think they're raising the banner on a Tuesday, their second game.
Okay, I got to check.
In May, because I remember looking at it. I talked about this last week, and I still didn't double check. Because I believe the first home game is the Saturday of Mother's Day weekend, Friday or Saturday. So I'm not in town. But then the next game, I believe, is on a Tuesday. And that's when they're doing the banner raising and all that ceremony. So I'm going to have to be looking at those tickets.
Okay, I got to check that out. I would love me and my daughter. When we come home and my daughter can join that. Enjoy that.
It's a great venue. I absolutely love it. Can't wait to go.
Yeah, it's a party I heard over there. So I got to make sure I join it.
Yes, let's get it in. And shoot, people might be asking you for autographs because, the way that you are in this city.
Well, I appreciate that, but, I got to, if I'm sitting next to Candace, hey, I'm trying to get her autograph.
Ain't that the truth, man? We all are. We all are.
Right.
So I see Terrence in the background stretching.
Let's go.
Why don't you jump on in here? Let's go.
Hope this game is not a setup, Terrence.
You're on mute.
What's up, Coach?
Let's go, Terrence.
How you doing?
Southside all day, Terrence. Let's go.
All day. Southside all day. So before we even get into this game, and I'm gonna explain the rules again. What was your favorite chicken spot when you in Chicago? What's your favorite chicken spot?
Chicken spot?
Yeah.
Harold's chicken. Harold's chicken.
Okay. All right. This is gonna be a good game. It's gonna be a
5-piece mile with hot sauce and ketchup.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes. So
Terrence is just salty because an article came out that Detroit pizza was voted the best pizza in the country.
No.
Man, please.
No, you got Homewood Inn, you got Entire Fiesta, and the deep dish, Giordano's.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. I was about to run off this screen if you didn't say Giordano's.
Right. Come on now. Come on. I can't eat it now because I'm trying to watch my weight, but hey.
I feel you.
Pretty good.
A little here and there.
Yeah.
I feel you. All right. So this game, I'm gonna ask you 12 Chicago questions.
All
right. And Sherry is going to time it. It's 1 minute.
Okay.
So you have to answer at least 6 of them right. If you don't, you need to hurry up and make that trip back to Chicago and get baptized on the South Side.
Okay. All right, here we go.
All right, so everybody that's watching, you can play along too if you want to.
All right.
And here we go. The first question is a slam dunk.
I will start the timer after the end of the first question is read.
Okay. All right. So here we go. Number 1. What was the meat market on Stony Island where everybody used to get their ribs and chilies?
Oh, Moanoik.
What high school was known for the best house music parties?
Whitney Young. No, Mendel.
What college did Kanye West attend for 1 year and then became the college dropout?
Oh, I don't know. Chicago State.
What sports bar on 75th sounds like a football meeting place?
50-yard line.
What was the now defunct shopping mall every black person in Chicago went to?
Evergreen Plaza.
The great Herb Kent used to host this stepping show.
Ooh. I don't know. I forgot. No.
What studio was the home of Oprah Winfrey's show?
Harpo Studios? No.
What Bulls player was blackballed from the NBA?
Beep, beep, beep.
Mm.
Hold on, I want to get them all, though. I'm going to start it again.
Oh, Craig Hodges. Sorry, Craig Hodges.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and finish it out.
Yeah, because she's almost there. She got like 3 more.
You're almost there. Come on, coach. Come on, coach.
All right, let's go.
What player from the Bulls' 1992 championship team attended Corliss High School?
Ooh. I don't know. I'm sorry.
Barack Obama's favorite breakfast spot in Chicago is what?
I don't know. I'm sorry, I'll be honest.
What is the longest running street in Chicago?
King Drive.
What housing project was home of Candyman?
Cabrini Green.
That is it.
How did I do?
Well, those last 4 questions and
all right, give me the answers. Give me the answers. I want to make sure.
Okay, so you had all the ones that we did before. You had them right, all of them. So you went 7 for 7.
Okay, cool.
Did you get it? That was a little basketball talk
I got it.
Yeah, 8 through 12, not so much.
Yeah, I cooled off.
Yeah. You did get the Craig Hodges.
Okay.
You did get that one. But the player from Corliss is Darryl Walker.
Wow. Okay.
Darryl Walker. He was on that 1992 Bulls team.
Okay.
Okay, then number 10, you kind of bricked on that one too.
Was that the street?
No, that was Barack Obama's favorite breakfast spot.
Yeah, what is that?
So that is Valois in Hyde Park.
I knew it's Hyde Park.
I've been there before. Okay.
Yeah, it's a cafeteria style breakfast.
Yeah.
It's good food.
I was about to say original House of Pancakes, but
yeah.
That's a good guess, but nah, that ain't it.
Okay.
So the next one, you continue your streak of bricks.
Okay.
Is the longest street? Is that like Pulaski or Western or one of those?
Western.
Oh, from the west side to the south side.
Yes, Western is the longest running street in Chicago.
I'm bad with directions anyway, so. Hey.
Then number 12, you redeemed yourself. That was a layup. The Candyman, Cabrini Green, that was a layup. That was easy.
Okay, cool. Good. That's all right.
I got that one right. Come on, everyone knows that.
Yeah, Sherry, but you from Detroit. You would have gotten all the rest of them wrong.
I would have gotten Western right. I would have gotten. And some of the first ones I would have gotten correct because I remember from when you asked them previously. Hey.
You would not have remembered where you go get your chitlins. I guarantee.
No, I would not.
I'm surprised I remember moving on. I was like, ooh, that was a tough one. Because I almost forgot about that. Yeah,
Sherry. You would have maybe gotten that last question right, but the rest of them you would have bombed. But Coach, you all right. So I guess you when you make that trip, you can still circle around and go to some of these spots. But
I gotta hit Harold's Chicken, Garrett's Popcorn. I gotta hit Portillo's. I gotta hit all the spots. Home Run In. I gotta hit Home Run In.
Italian Fiesta.
Yep.
All of them.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
That's that hood pizza.
Yeah, I gotta hit the little bar spots, the Family Den, outside.
The Family Den. Okay. All right. You know, they closed Reese's.
Really?
They closed. Yeah, Reese's closed.
Wow, I did not know that.
Okay.
Okay.
LaMel's is closed too. That's like right down the street. That's closed.
Dang. Man, okay.
Times have changed.
Yes. What about Francis on 75th Street? I know that's a spot everybody go to.
I'm not too sure.
Okay.
I'm not too sure about that. I know the Red Pepper.
Yes.
That's still open. The fried chicken is phenomenal over there.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes.
And
get the wings and fries. The wings and fries.
Nick Anderson's son actually has a spot on 87 down the street from Reese's that he just recently opened.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I went and checked that out the other day. It was okay. Yeah.
But, thanks for having me. This was a lot of fun. I appreciate it, Sherry, and I appreciate it, Terrence.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Coach. That was a lot of fun.
Final question for you, EC. Who are you going for in March Madness, men's and women's? I know you were busy coaching, but we've had a little bit of time to watch those first couple rounds.
Well, on the women's side, I got to go for South Carolina. My girl, Dawn Staley. On the men's side, I got to go University of Michigan. My homeboy, Juwan Howard. So got to do that. I'm pulling for those guys. So
you heard it here first. EC, thank you so much. Appreciate it. I know we will stay in touch. You are a legend.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
And go Dolphins.
Always. Thank you.
Of course. Bye.
Bye.
Look, it's you. Hey.
Yeah, it's me.
Look at you on the ladies' show. She said what she said. Holler.
I know. Girl, she's saying what she said.
Damn straight.
But that was a great interview with Coach, man. That was awesome.
She is just, she's so humble too. You know what I mean?
Very
like
humble.
You were like the best Chicago basketball player of all time. Tell me about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just
you know, she wore number 23 too.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, she did. She wore 23.
She
was like the female Michael Jordan.
Man, I mean, once you have someone say like, hey, she was my favorite player growing up, I had a signed basketball from her. It's like you have reached that next level when kids get a signed basketball by you and they like treasure that.
Pretty much, yeah.
And then they're an adult and they're like, I lost it or it got misplaced. But we'll see if we can
look at Frank, man.
Right. She run for governor. Man.
You're silly dog.
Hey, I would vote for her, whatever
she would win. Yeah, she would win, especially up against the well, no, I like Pritzker. I like
He's not the worst. Not the worst.
But I guess we're not going to get into politics.
We are not. This is a sports show.
Right.
Oh man. So T, you said you aren't watching March Madness, really?
No, I'm not too into March Madness right now. Not this year. I got a lot going on.
It's been great. It's been some, I stopped doing brackets years ago because all I would do is light them on fire. So,
okay.
Literally, I would have rage issues. It doesn't matter. Like I would have years that I would be watching so much college hoops and I would still fuck it up. Years that I wouldn't be watching much and I would still fuck it up. Right. Thank you, Frank. I lost all my Final Four in the first 2 rounds. So now I just play squares where they assign you a random number. 2 squares. So far, 1 has hit 1.
So that's safer for you?
It's, I like the randomness of it. You know what I mean? I won one of those charity pick'ems years ago. Facebook Memories reminded me of this, where it was like, I took like a random, before the teams were announced, it was like the 1 seed from XYZ, like regions. It was completely random, but I picked my ticket and I ended up winning a few $100 off of that one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I apparently do better with the randoms than I did with my brackets. And I'd always get like like, oh, this is the year Syracuse is going to do well. Syracuse. And then Syracuse would, lose first round. I'd be like, Gonzaga ain't do shit this year, and Gonzaga goes to Final Four. You're like, okay, yeah, it's cool. Yeah, so it's really been a light the brackets on fire year. Big Ten 2 years in a row is just not like we're once again the conference with the most teams in it.
Mm-hmm.
We got 2 in the Sweet 16 total.
Mm-hmm.
Iowa lost first round. That they were the champion. That was embarrassing. Ohio State had injury problems. They won the first round.
Mm-hmm.
Wisconsin lost in the second round, but their star shooter he's been injured, started playing again, got re-injured, came out of the game, and they couldn't buy a bucket. So it's been and Michigan State almost had it against Duke. Izzo almost gave Coach K.
I know Bowles was sick about that. I know JB was sick.
I was too. I was like, because I cheer for Izzo. I cheer for Michigan State.
Mm-hmm.
Oops, you can't. How can you not cheer for Izzo? Man,
talk about longevity. Izzo was like the coach when I was like a baby. He's been around for a while.
Yeah, I think I can't remember a time when he wasn't the coach at Michigan State. I mean, he was there when I was in like middle school, probably elementary school. But you know what? I mean, I can't not cheer for Juwan Howard.
I can't not either. Not only because he's the homeboy, but because he's a real dude, man. He is a real dude. Now, I'm not necessarily condoning what he did, but I mean, I ain't gonna turn my cheek on him either.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really bad move. He should not have done that. That's going to be a stain on his reputation, and that was awful. However, I do think that was against character, and I hope he realizes was it a bad move on the other coach? Yeah, but in the same sense, I feel like because Michigan's regular season was nowhere near what it was supposed to be. He was taking out that aggression, that anger, where it was misplacing it. But look, they're in the Sweet 16 again. So
yeah.
After a tough, they almost didn't make the tournament. They were a bubble team. And I thought, oh, he's a Notre Dame guy. Get out of here, Frank. Gross.
Hey, Penny, his team did not make it. Did they?
Which team?
Memphis.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think they lost last week.
I think so. I wasn't available to watch all the games on Sunday because I fell asleep after my race.
That's right.
I was doing my race and I came back and I was trying so hard to stay up and I kept falling asleep. And so finally at 9 p.m., I went to bed and I was staying with my buddy's parents, my Nigerian parents, and I heard his mom tell his dad that she wanted to stay up for 45 more minutes because she's not old. And I was like, I heard that.
That's right. Shit. You're old. You're not old.
I was like, I can't do it. Yeah. So I did miss a few games just from constantly falling asleep on their couch. Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, I don't think Penny's team made it. I do believe they lost. I wanted to actually see him do well, especially after he went off publicly.
Fair.
I wanted to see him do well, but maybe next March. Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Who I'm cheering for, I don't know. I kind of like the chaos. Just light it on fire. I don't like Duke. Would it be cool for Coach K's legacy? It would be kind of cool for Coach K's legacy. Do I like Coach K? No, I don't like. I don't dislike him. I just don't like Duke. But am I going to jump on that bandwagon? Fuck no. So I'm just watching. To watch the world burn down, and that is what I do when I watch basketball in March now.
Back in the day, Duke was the talk of everything. and they had the top basketball players to come out of Duke.
Oh yeah.
Johnny Dawkins. Do you remember Jay Williams? He played for the Bulls.
Not off the top of my head.
Before he had a motorcycle accident. Danny Ferry. Didn't Danny Ferry go to Duke?
Maybe.
I believe Danny Ferry went to Duke.
Grant Hill.
I'm sorry.
Grant Hill went to Duke.
Yeah, Grant Hill did.
Pistons, holler.
And had it not been for injuries, he probably would have been like in the same conversations with Kobe and Michael.
Oh, one of the greatest. Absolutely. But yeah, he was a delicate flower when it came to his injuries.
A delicate flower?
Man, that motherfucker was always injured. Always. Great. One of the best. He would walk down a stair and pop his Achilles, like just living his life. I mean, God, I don't know what to tell you, but yeah. I don't know if I'm cheering for Duke. I'm just saying it wouldn't be the worst storyline of all time to go out. Although I would have liked to see Izzo knock him out. But, we'll see. UNC's still in it, right?
Yes. Llewellyn Dang did go to Duke. Okay,
yeah, because UNC has that new coach that was the assistant coach for however many years, and so now he has his time to shine. So kind of cool to see, I like the storylines. I'm a very one-track minded sports fan during football season. Blinders. I'm watching football, but once football's over and the world of basketball starts to emerge, and I think I'll be watching more next year because of Penn State. They're looking like they could actually be okay next year, and so I'm kind of excited for that because I do love Big Ten basketball.
Well, I'm not that into college basketball because I went to Morehouse College and our basketball team sucked. So I didn't really watch a lot of college basketball. But I do try to keep up like around tournament time, I jump on the bandwagon then. But it's just too many damn teams, man. I can't keep up with all that shit.
Right? Yeah, there's no possible way. Fun fact, I used to always date a basketball player back in the day.
You want to know?
I had to switch though. I had to switch. Penn State, I dated 2 basketball players in a row, and I was like, "Yikes! Let me go somewhere else."
They were tossing your little ass around 5'4". Little young lady.
I think the tallest guy I ever dated was like 6'8", and that's too tall. That is too tall.
Yeah, 6'8",
power forward at a major university.
Oh, okay. All right. Man, that's a tall dude. That's a tall dude.
That was that was a little, and then he like busted his knee, so he couldn't really walk. He was like,
yikes.
Broken. Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, he had a good career afterwards. Played overseas for a long time.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you who after when we're no longer alive.
Funny.
I know. See, you can gossip all day with the girls, right, T?
Yeah, no. No, actually, I'm ready to wrap it up, Sharon Bear.
He's like, yeah, we're going too far down this route. No.
Yeah. Talking about who you dated and stuff. Yeah, not so much. I love being on She Said What She Said, but sometimes it gets to be a little too much what she said.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't want to know all that.
It's fine. That's fine.
I'll leave it on you.
Fantastic. Well, I do appreciate E.C. Hill coming today. She was phenomenal. And honestly, she was just like, I know people that know her. I got tagged on Facebook as in, hey, you guys should link up. She was so nice automatically from the beginning. Just such a pleasure. I just knew that I was going to love chatting with her, and I did learn some things. Very excited to have her kind of in that She Said What She Said community. So T, why don't you give me some shout outs for today?
Well, first shout out, I won't reiterate everything you said about Coach, but I do want to shout out Coach for coming on here and playing the Chicago game and slam dunking all those questions up until number 8. Then she started throwing bricks.
Yeah.
But still, I love the fact that she came on here and she played it with style and grace. Shout out to you, Cher Bear.
Okay.
I mean, great job. Great job talking with Coach and asking her the questions that a lot of people probably wanted to hear. Shout out to the whole Chicago Clubhouse Network. JB, TJ, AB, and everybody
CJ,
else.
Diab, Chris.
Yes, CJ, Diab, Chris.
Let me help you with some names.
Konisha, everybody that is part of this network. Shout out to y'all. And man, let's shout out to everybody that was in the chat. And Frank, Big Frank, you are always a constant supporter. Appreciate you, Big Frank. He is also a moderator for one of the pages, for Chicago Clubhouse podcast page.
And our resident Blackhawks expert.
Yes.
We have one expert.
And we will start Hawk Talk very soon. But right now, it's just too much other stuff going on.
Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? Yeah.
So we'll get to it. But I want to shout out everybody that was in the chat. Even if you didn't say anything, we appreciate you for watching. But you are officially a lurker. But it's okay to be a lurker. It is okay to be a lurker. You don't have to say anything. But as long as you're even watching, we appreciate it. So thank you. Appreciate it. That's all my shouts.
Fantastic. Shouting out to this way. You, Chicago Clubhouse Podcast Network, and D-Sun over at LEC. Coach, my girl Jen for hooking me up with Coach. And just everyone in the chat, everyone that's watching, everyone that will watch tomorrow or a different day, because this will live on the internet forever. And on that note, why don't you go ahead and play that new little outro clip?
This has been a Chicago Clubhouse Network production.
Say the part that's missing.
We out!
Bye!